Hello and welcome to another football episode. Now before we proceed with showing you what happened in the Premier League on the 8th and 9th of December 2012, I just want to remind you, or tell you if you didn't know, that there were a set of fixtures in the midweek period from Tuesday the 27th of November and Wednesday the 28th of November a couple of weeks ago. So, courtesy of the BBC Sport website, I'm just going to show you what those results were, and then the video will progress to the current week, the 8th and 9th of December. You may have noticed from last week's episode, the 1st and 2nd of December, that all the teams had played 2 more games than the week before from late November. It's because of a midweek set of games. The table has been updated to encompass both games, both sets at least. So let me just show you how those results finished. Firstly, on the 27th, Villa scored a late winner through Benteke, I think it was, in a televised game, and a hard-fought win over Reading. Of course, Harry Redknapp got his first point as QPR boss in a 0-0 draw at Sunderland. And then on the 28th, there were 8 games. West Ham conceded after 30 seconds to Man United, but only lost 1-0 in the end. Man City needed 2 goals at Wigan, including a stunner from James Milner to win there. Rafa Benitez got a second consecutive 0-0 draw at home to start his Chelsea reign with Fulham. Arsenal were ahead at Everton inside a minute, but it finished 1-1 at Goodison. Southampton Norwich was 1 apiece. Stoke 2, Newcastle 1. Newcastle was taking the lead early in the second half, but Stoke fought back with a couple of late goals. Swansea were 3-0 up inside about 40 minutes against West Brom. West Brom got a consolation goal all before half-time, that was. And Tottenham were 2-0 up early against Liverpool at White Hart Lane, and a consolation goal for Liverpool in the second half wasn't enough. And they are the results. Well, we're just a few minutes into this game, and the game we're listening to, courtesy of BBC Radio 5 Live, which is what they chose, is Sunderland versus Chelsea. It's been a bright start for both teams, actually. Sunderland have had a couple of chances, and Chelsea have had a stonewall penalty turned down, apparently, all within the first few minutes. Can Chelsea end that 7-game winless run? Or can Sunderland reverse their poor form? You'll find out.
Wide and high, and the ball is still bouncing around.
And that goal for Chelsea came in about the 12th minute, which was the same minute that they took the lead at West Ham in their last away league game. And we all know what happened there. So there are warning signs for Chelsea to consider as they go forward in this match.
So we know that Chelsea are still 1 up at Sunderland after 20 minutes, but there's been a couple more goals elsewhere in the Barclays Premier League. Firstly, it's Wigan 1, QPR 0, in a game QPR really need to win. Also, in the battle of the 2 informed sides, it's Swansea 0, Norwich 1. A long trip from east to west for the Canaries, but they're winning it so far at the Liberty Stadium.
Teta now runs up against Myhill and scores.
And that's Arsenal taking the lead against West Brom. You just heard it live there. The Gunners have gunned ahead against West Brom. Arsenal 1, West Bromwich Albion 0.
We have an equaliser for QPR at Wigan. It's Wigan 1, Queen's Park Rangers 1 there.
Into the crowd. But it's a must-hit again.
We're just over half an hour into the games now. And let me just round up all the scores in the Premier League. Sunderland 0, Chelsea 1 still here. Arsenal 1, West Brom 0. Wigan 1, QPR 1. Swansea 0, Norwich 2. Southampton have been on top. It's still 0-0 in their game with Reading. Also 0-0, unsurprisingly, between Villa and Stoke.
Listen to this. Norwich are 2-0 up at Swansea now. And it was from a set piece, I think. It might have been from a corner. It was a headed goal from Bassong. He scored Norwich's crucial equaliser at Everton from a header a couple of weeks ago in the last away game.
Well, it's half time, and the scores are as follows. Still Arsenal 1, West Brom 0. Still Wigan 1, QPR 1. Norwich have just got a third at Swansea. They're 3-0 up away at the Liberty Stadium. What a score that is. Goalless between Southampton and Reading. Also between Villa and Stoke. And as you just heard there, Torres has added a second from the penalty spot for Chelsea. So there are your scores at half time. In a few minutes,
I'm going to start driving, and we're going to drive home for the second half, just straight home. Yeah.
Then Sessegnon, then Wickham, Stephen Fletcher.
Well, just a few minutes ago, there was a second goal. No.
Came on for Romeo, Moses, Mata, Hazard.
Well, it's almost.
A goal and a penalty. Oh, that was.
Well, we just had a second goal right on the stroke of our time, near enough, and Chelsea are now 2 up. It's another goal for Torres, albeit from a controversial penalty. So 2-0 Chelsea, a perfect cushion for them just before half time. But Sunderland, unfortunately, have got more problems at home again.
And Swansea have a lifeline in this game. Swansea 1, Norwich 3.
So Swansea have just got one back there, but in the game I'm listening to, there's also been another goal, and Chelsea are well and truly out of sight now. They're going to get their first win since October. I think Mata got it. It's 3-0 Chelsea. Big boo Sunderland fans, big chorus of boos, should I say, from the home supporters immediately after the goal. Just a few minutes in the second half, Sunderland 0, Chelsea 3, as well as Swansea scoring against Norwich. Well, as we approach the hour mark in this game, it's still 3-0 Chelsea. By the way, there was a disallowed goal for Southampton in the first half, and that's the contentious talking point there. But no more new goals at the moment. Well, it was the driving rain gets worse on the way home. Southampton have now got a goal which does stand, and perhaps justice for a goal they should have had in the first half. Southampton are ahead. Oh, wait there. The comeback is well and truly on for Swansea. It's 3-2, or 2-3 between Swansea and Norwich. Just over an hour gone in the 3 o'clock games. A second penalty for Arsenal, could be a second goal. Stay with us a moment.
Into the area, over and down over the outstretched leg of Chris Brunt, and now an immediate break from one end of
As we come off the motorway.
Chances for West Bromwich Albion. Is this the chance for Mikel Arteta
Here we go.
against Boaz Myhill to close the game out? And scored!
And it's 2-0.
It's 2-0. It was a dive which won the first one. No doubt about it for the second, but either way, Arsenal now out.
And for the neutral, it's pleasing to say that there was no cheating involved in the second goal. So Arsenal 2 up. Goal, that was a magnificent goal. No clean sheet for Chelsea and Petr Cech. It's a stunning consolation goal from Sunderland. In fact, with 25 minutes left, it could even still be 3-3 this game, but Sunderland 1, Chelsea 3, game on at the Stadium of Light. Beautiful goal. Well, it's a thrilling game now. Sunderland are really throwing everything forward. Chelsea could be in trouble if Sunderland get another one now, because they still have 15 minutes left of the game. Listen to this score. Jibril Cisse has possibly put QPR on course for that elusive first win. They make a new Premier League record of going 16 games without a win at the start of the season if they don't win today. Wigan 1, QPR 2. All 3 London sides are winning now. Arsenal 2 up still. Southampton 1 up against Reading. Villa Stoke goalless. And it's still Swansea 2, Norwich 3. So it's turned out to be a good afternoon. I know, I'll conclude all the scores in a bit. Well, that lead at Wigan for QPR lasted barely a couple of minutes. It's now 2-2. And I'll say it again, I'll conclude everything after the final whistles. Well, I've just finished watching the Gillette Soccer Saturday show, and the results are in. They're as follows. Firstly, it was Arsenal 2, West Brom 0, Wigan 2, QPR 2, who set a new Premier League record of 16 games without a win at the beginning of a season. Southampton 1, Reading 0, Aston Villa 0, Stoke 0, so another goalless draw involving Stoke. Sunderland 1, Chelsea 3, the game we were listening to, it finished. But there was more drama at Swansea. Swansea 2, Norwich 3 was the score. But Norwich went 4-2 up, and then Swansea got a consolation, Michu again, meaning he's the top scorer in the Premier League. It finished 3-4 there. Oh yeah, by the way, in the end, we just stayed in the car during the whole of the first half, as we had to wait for a few people. It's a long story. Yeah, and we just drove back in the second half and saw the results. That's all we did. Yeah, so literally it was just a direct drive home. We didn't even stop anywhere. But still, it's just the odd week. I always have a good trip most weeks, don't I? You know, just the odd 1 or 2. It's a bit more basic, you know how it is. Because we've all got other commitments in life beyond football. And that's your Premier League for today. Well, it's another Sunday afternoon in the Barclays Premier League. Today's 3 o'clock kickoff is Everton versus Tottenham, a big game in prospect here. I'm out just for the first half, listen to that, and then I'll show you a few goals from the West Ham Liverpool game later on. It's a big Sunday in the Premier League as grand old team rings round Goodison. 5 minutes till kick-off, let's get it on. Well, there's my car in the bottom right hand corner of the shot. Today though, we're going this way. It's just a local trip for me, this. We're in Little Sutton in West Cheshire and we're heading to Rivica Woods, which are just through here. And it'll be a good trip, this. We'll walk through the woods and a few industrial roads and back again during the first half of this match. So we've heard the Premier League jingle after Z cars, which the players came out to. Let's get it on. Two proud giants of English football. Everton from Liverpool in the northwest and Tottenham from the capital in the southeast. It's 3 o'clock, let's get it on. Okay, it's 3 o'clock. The game has now kicked off and it's a bright start for Everton as I show you a 360 panoramic of this area. And it leads us to this path. And this is the southwest entrance to the woods. Even the winter, with no leaves on the trees, it's still a very pleasant walk. Bit of a nippy wind blowing in, but it's not too bad today. Well, we've got a very interesting game in prospect this afternoon between two really good sides. Everton have got a good record at home to Tottenham in the Premier League, especially in recent years. Unbeaten in 5, they've won the last 2, 1-0 and 3-1. But Tottenham have won 3 in a row as well. They're in the top 4 and having a good season. So it's all to play for as we hit the 5-minute mark. Well, we've just heard a loud chorus of when the Spurs go marching in from the away end. And I trust that Tottenham have brought several thousand and sold out Goodison Park's visiting stand. No Gareth Bale today though, he's injured, which could well be a big boost for Everton as we hit this plateau, the bottom of the hill. Well, an interesting little bridge to the right. However, I do know where I'm going. We're going straight ahead. Well, Tottenham have come right back into this and it's a thrilling game. You can't take your eyes off this for a moment at the moment. To quote Derek Jones, the commentator here on BBC Radio Merseyside, who provides today's commentary. Well, we might not have time to go down them industrial roads I mentioned earlier. We're definitely going to walk through the woods, but we may have to just cut the trip short because we'd probably need both halves to go to the industrial area as well. Walking through these woods is going to take the whole of the first half in what is the first of a brilliant Merseyside London doubleheader. Yeah, that field's actually a good few hundred metres long, but take my word for it, it's near enough all dense forest from here on in. And I wish I'd brought my gloves because my fingertips are freezing. They're like halfway towards dropping off at the moment. This is a very scenic area. You can see the stream there running down here, and just further ahead there's a bridge and a crossroads. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn right here, I think, and actually go across that bridge. Well, one man says we should go one way, but the other bloke says let's go right. And it's the other bloke that wins, because that's exactly the way we're going. Across this bridge. Yep. Beautiful scenery from this spot. As we hit the 16-minute mark in this game. Everton have had more of the chances, but it's a good end-to-end contest. Tottenham in possession, 20 minutes into it. Now another decision, left or right. I think I'm going to go left here. Yeah. I didn't say I'd planned an exact route, all I said was I know where I'm going. They're different things. Still a few autumn leaves yet to drop off, even though we're well into the winter now. As we approach the halfway mark of the first half. It's a good game, but whoever gets the first goal between Everton and Tottenham well, it's going to be pivotal, of course. It will be crucial. Even without Bale, their key talismanic playmaker, Tottenham are doing well here. Everton unbeaten at home this season. A chance for Everton. Sorry, it was a Tottenham chance and Dempsey shot wide from it. Well, you might be able to tell we're coming up to a busy road. Well, actually, we're coming up to a country lane that can get busy but isn't that busy. What you can hear is the M53 motorway, about a quarter of a mile to the left of us and over the hill. Well, we could get off the woods over there to the right, and there is the canal going under a bridge, and you can see a car coming past now. There it is, and the canal continues. However, what we're going to do is we're going to cross this bridge just coming up in the shot, and we're going to get off onto the road over there. So let's go that way. It's still goalless after 27 minutes as I walk across this wooden bridge, praying that it doesn't collapse, which of course it didn't. And we're going right here on this big Premier League Sunday. We are just coming up to the road now. What we're basically going to do is just cross it and go that way where that other gate is. So let's do it. And by the way, if I may just show you something coming up. I don't know what function it had, but this old building here. Yeah. And the motorway is literally just over the other side of that hill to the left. So nearly half an hour in. So 29 minutes in fact it is. And we're still waiting the first goal. It's been a very open game. Surprised we haven't had one. Green bridge there. And on we go. Well, I'm hoping to go that way towards the industrial sites later on in the season. However, it's this way that I'm going now, over this green bridge, and I'll show you a couple more shots of the stream as I go across. Firstly to the right, and secondly to the left. There you are. About 34 minutes have gone. Tottenham currently on the attack. Well, I'm just getting back onto the road here, and basically we're just walking along the road for the final 15 minutes or so of the half until we reach the car. So let's go there. I'll tell you if any goals, if any, go in. Oh, Everton came close there. Pienaar, Osman, Fellaini, Morales, the usual suspects in Everton's very productive attack. As we pretty much 39 minutes have gone, so about 6 more until half time. Well, very much back into Little Sutton now. In fact, we're actually in an area called Overport at this point. As Leighton Baines gets a yellow card in the referee's book. 1 minute until half time, and it is still surprisingly goalless. It's been a cracking 0-0 half though, if it does finish 0-0 after the first 45, which it probably will. And here we are then, back where we started. There it is. And only 45 minutes have passed since we was here earlier. And you might recognise that little red car coming up on the right because it's mine. So, it is now half time, I can confirm. And it's gone in 0-0. But Tottenham are lucky not to be 1-0 down. Anyway, we're back. So it's 0-0 there at half time. Now I'm watching the West Ham Liverpool game. As a West Ham fan, I'm watching it with my brother who's a Liverpool fan, so it's always a special occasion. Liverpool are a club that are close to my heart as well. So it's going to be a good match for me. I can just enjoy whatever happens. And I'll let you know if any goals do go in the second half in this. No more, there'll probably be 6 goals in the second half after the being none in this. Oh, we need to get back. Let's go then.
Always hits the target. He's an incredible finisher.
Tell what he is. I've never met him. I bet he's a real solid citizen.
Yeah, absolutely. The manager loves him here.
You know, he looks to be one of them that would point a finger at other people in the dressing room when people weren't doing it. He's how it used to be.
He's his lieutenant on the pitch as well. He's his manager on the pitch. You always see Sam Allardyce, any messages he wants to transmit to the players, he's the first person, his first port of call, because he understands the game. He gets people around him going, Noble, the army. I guarantee you, watch it today, he'll have 3 or 4
You've
opportunities.
got to have a successful football club unless you've got characters like him in the dressing room, because he puts out the fires in the dressing room before they gather momentum. If there's an issue in the dressing room, he'd be something that the manager would never get to hear about. I've not met him, but he's a real solid citizen.
Senior players, Graham, you like that, don't you?
I love
Senior players.
You're not a successful football team unless you've got good senior players.
Who will come out on top? It was West Ham, Liverpool, in the company of Alan Smith and first, Rob Hawthorne.
Well, it was a strong finish that saw West Ham prevail in their last match, so they start with Tenaby Evans that finished the win over Chelsea last week with Jussi Askelainen, their goalkeeper, and an unchanged back four despite George McCartney being available again. Guy Demel and Joey O'Brien retain the fullback positions. Mohamed Diame, who came on and scored last weekend, returns to the starting lineup this afternoon, and the other change from the starting 11 sees Matt Taylor restored at Gary O'Neill's expense. And Carlton Cole, relishing his return to first-team action, continues to deputise for Andy Carroll. Liverpool make one change from the last league game against Southampton. Pepe Reina still in goal. The back four remains intact, with Daniel Agger having been the match winner at Anfield. The game last weekend marked the return of Lucas, and the fact that he came through unscathed means that he's playing again. The suspension of Luis Suarez, though, opens the door for Stuart Downing to return for a league outing, and means that John Joe Shelby has to play in this much talked about false number 9 role. Lid on expectations might be the main role of that man today. Sam Allardyce's side sprung a real surprise with their second half turnaround against Chelsea. They could have been blown away at half time the way that game started, but it was some comeback. Lee Pruitt is the man in charge today. He refereed Liverpool's last win in this fixture, a 3-0 victory 2 years ago. Neither West Ham nor Liverpool have put together back-to-back victories in the Premier League so far this season. The prospects held out for both of them here. And Liverpool, who had to stay in Italy an extra night after their win against Udinese because of problems with the plane on the way back. Hope that won't have unduly affected their preparations. Good start. Now Gerrard. This is Glenn Johnson. Johnson going for goal! And what a goal! Glenn Johnson comes back to haunt West Ham United again. That's 4 consecutive goals for him against former clubs, and 3 of them have been against the Hammers. Well, whenever he goal, Jarvis needing to pull it across. He's got men in the box. Struck by Demel, is that a hand? Yes! The referee points to the spot. Allen was the man in the way and feels he couldn't have got out of the way, but the referee gives the penalty. Well, we've seen it quite a lot. Ready for West Ham this season in the victory over Southampton. Noble equalises. And West Ham back on a level footing. Well, they've been turning up the pressure, haven't they? Asking all sorts of questions of that Liverpool defence. Yeah, instead, it's a Matt Jarvis. Oh, it's in! It may have gone in off the captain, Steven Gerrard. That's for certain. But if you continue putting in quality balls into the box as this one was. Liverpool have not scored in the final 15 minutes of a Premier League game at all this season, and we're into that phase of the game now. It'll be a good time to change that unwanted statistic as Joe Cole looks to do that, and does! And West Ham United here have been haunted by their old boys. Johnson in the first half, Joe Cole in the second. Restrained celebrations from both. Liverpool level. Well, it was the best bit of football by... Away goes Jordan Henderson this time. Looks for Shelby! And he's done it! John Joe Shelby! The West Ham fan as a boy, the former youth player here. The false number 9 acts like a real number 9 and comes up with what could be the winning goal. Well, there's nothing false, but
So there you have it. It was a 5-goal thrill at the Bowling Ground, but it indeed did finish West Ham United 2, Liverpool 3. An excellent game for the neutral. And by the way, in the other game, the Everton-Tottenham match, there were a few goals towards the end. Tottenham took the lead with about 15 minutes left, but just when it looked like Everton might be losing their first home game of the season, they pulled out the traps and scored 2 goals in 2 minutes, I think in both in stoppage time, and Everton won it 2-1. So, there you go. Tottenham well and truly out of the title race, and along with Everton and Liverpool that both won, it's looking very interesting. The number of teams, also Arsenal and West Brom still up there, battling for top 4, and Chelsea are third. So yeah, it's been another interesting weekend, and I'll see you next week.